good evening. Meteorologist Chris Smith here in the Panhandle Weather Studios. Dan also to my right in the studios here this evening. Welcome back out to our home here.
Yeah, it's good to be back. It looks like you have audio there. I wasn't seeing it out here, but
yes, I can see it over
there you go. Your microphone is on now, and we are here on your side of the bridge. The couple of bridges, obviously. Starting to feel a little cool in the studio, but anything but outside today. I spent some time on the porch this morning, which was an interesting feel. I was like, okay, we got the sun. It's almost Christmas, but it was feeling all right out there. And then driving in the car, obviously the car's got no window tint. It was a fishbowl. I had to turn the AC on pretty high.
Well, it's interesting because like my car will turn on like when the interior temperature gets to a certain temperature, like when it's just cool it off or whatever, and that happened today.
Yeah.
So you get the sun, it's getting, the inside of the car gets up over 100 degrees this time of year.
Now, obviously, still cool for the mornings here. Temperatures, though, probably standard cool, for the time of year. We're not talking about freezing conditions, but it really is the afternoons that are going to make headlines throughout the week.
Yeah, we're going to see those temperatures getting up there, 70, I think 70 for the beaches, but inland areas are going to flirt with 80 degrees this week.
It's just insane.
Crazy.
We've seen it before. Obviously, we put out that graphic last week, and I think 2016 or 17 got up to 85 in some spots. So it's been warmer. Obviously, it's been cooler. Christmas always is just a toss-up.
Yeah, and which is how we ended up there. It's the average of extremes, climate. So typically, it's either really hot or really cold. This morning across our area, we had a gorgeous sunrise picture from Charlie Wooten over there at the Bear Creek Hunting Lodge there in Calhoun County. This was the sunrise this morning. David Wesley capturing a glimpse of that daylight out over across Panama City Beach this evening. Thank you very much for sending in that picture. Meanwhile, right now we're currently looking at temperatures into the low 60s, dew point temperature into the mid 50s, and that tells us that we're not going to be able to get a whole lot cooler than probably mid 50s tonight across our region, with dew point temperatures remaining on the high side. Traffic moving across the Marlar Bridge, A-OK. Had a few folks milling about there at Harbor Walk Village this evening. Temperatures there in Destin into the low 60s, and that's the case in Panama City Beach as well. North winds blowing at about 5 miles an hour. But here we are, just a couple days away from Christmas across our area. A couple days away from Christmas. Lined up, the radar remains all quiet as you move up into the northeast. You got some lake effect snow ongoing up there into Pennsylvania, and up into the Great Lakes states. Another little clipper system moving across the northern tier of the United States. And out across the western United States, it's just been a parade of moisture continuing to slide from the southwest to the north and east, from Seattle to Portland and over into San Francisco. When we talk about travel impacts, well, for today, everything confined to the Great Lakes and basically the northwestern United States, from Seattle and Portland, the active weather. Now, as we head into tomorrow, we'll start to see more impacts into the northeast and across the west coast of the United States. But a good chunk of our area continues to remain pretty nice across the country. As you look across the southern tier of the United States for sure, and the southeast, so flights through Atlanta should move through A-OK. Let's see, the mic is still off. At least that's what we're hearing. If your mic is on, I could use that one in the meantime.
I'm not seeing any reason why it wouldn't work. It's a bit mysterious. Let's tear this off.
Yep. Okay. That's quite all right. Now, there we go. Here's what we'll do. Dan, if you wanted to fidget with it.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Well, but here's the interesting. Okay. How about that? Can you hear me now? Okay. Interesting. Because, so the reason why I say that's interesting is my mic was green because I checked it multiple times. But the mic, then when I checked it a minute ago or a second ago, it was red, telling me that like the battery's dying or whatever. But it's interesting that the audio had cut out before it turned red. So there you go. Okay, we got it all figured out this evening. Interesting. There we go. We appreciate y'all for being patient. So here's what we'll do. Because it's our channel, we can do what we want. You can now hear me talk about Charlie Wooten's sunrise picture, David Wesley's sunset picture this evening, and we got some folks swinging out there, destination Panama City. What we were talking about, what I was saying, the dew point temperatures are into the mid-50s, so that gives us an idea of where the dew point temperatures are into the mid-50s, and that gives us an idea of where the lows were going to be tonight. So we're probably talking about 50s across most of northwest Florida. Panama City Beach, dew point of 57 degrees, winds out of the north at 5 miles an hour. So Willie, right now, very light northerly wind at 5 miles an hour, but dew point temperatures into the upper 50s. Live Doppler radar, nothing in the way of any rainfall here. The active weather up across the Great Lakes states, basically lake effects snow continuing there. Little clipper system across the northern tier of the United States, kind of sliding by southern parts of Canada and then out into the western United States. Look at all the active weather from San Francisco up through Portland and Seattle. They have definitely been on the stormier side here in recent weeks. And that's one of the areas that we see the bigger impacts when it comes to travel. We saw that today in the Pacific Northwest, and we see it up into the Great Lakes. We'll see it more across much of the West Coast as we head into Tuesday, and then also into the Great Lakes and Northeast. But the southern tier of the United States and even up through Chicago, so some of the big hubs should be okay. On Wednesday, everything clears out across the East Coast, and the storminess is primarily out over across the West Coast. So if you're going to be traveling, just something to keep in mind. Temperatures today did climb up into the 70s. Some of us got up into the mid-70s. 76 in Panama City, 73 Inlet Beach, 71 degrees in Defuniak Springs. Right now we're looking at temperatures into the 60s across our area. Most of us into the mid-60s. Up across the I-10 corridor, a bit cooler. Most of us are in the ballpark of where we were this time last night across our area. Winds, very, very light, less than 5 miles an hour. You can see more of an east and even southeasterly flow. This is all part of the process of the atmosphere kind of moistening up here across our region. So looking at our future clouds and radar, quiet weather across our areas. We move through the overnight hours tonight and on into your Tuesday morning. I don't think we'll see much fog tomorrow morning, but we will start to see fog this week. Later, we'll say Wednesday and so Christmas Eve morning and Christmas Day morning, I think there will be some fog out there, and we'll show you a little bit more about that coming up in just a bit. But what we'll see is just mainly sunny skies again on your Tuesday, and the warm-up continues. Temperatures are going to drop down through the 50s tonight, but again, inland areas could drop 49, 50 degrees. So across the Chipola River Valley, I see some 40s showing up, but I think most of us will be in the 50s and probably staying, remember the dew point temperatures, 55, 56, 57. We'll probably stay in those mid 50s tonight down along the coastline because there's a little bit more moisture there. Meanwhile, Christmas lights brought to you by Danny Riles Real Estate and our friends at Coconut Creek Family Fun Park. Look at the light displays. Downtown Chipley is a nice place to go check out a whole bunch of lights. And you have the old train depot station there. We got angels, and we got reindeer, we got snowmen. You can see the streets of downtown Chipley are all decorated nicely. The gazebo nicely decorated. So again, go check out downtown Chipley if you're up there. They had Christmas Fest that was on Friday. Friday they had Christmas Fest, but we appreciate everyone sending in their pictures and videos. Miss Regina down there in Port St. Joe sending pictures there. This is some of the cooler ones that I've seen.
Yeah.
Where the created, they put the lights behind it and illuminate it, and this is like really cool. Look at this. This is in front of their garage, and it is. I'm trying to remember where here.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. I know. It was Periwinkle Drive in Port St. Joe. I think that's where I got it.
Yes.
Yeah.
St. Joe Beach
Yeah,
sort of area.
St. Joe Beach. Okay, Periwinkle Drive. So anyway, I knew I had the location. I had to do a little bit of sleuthing to figure it out, but we got it nonetheless. And anyway, I really like this, and I thought it was really a job well done. Up into Chipley, just outside of Chipley there on Enfinger Road, you can see some great lights. Mexico Beach coming back down to the coast, but they're all over across Northwest Florida, and we thank our sponsors. And just a reminder that you can submit your pictures and videos on our website, panhandleweather.com/Christmas Lights, brought to us by our friends at Danny Riles Real Estate and Coconut Creek Family Fun Park.
Yeah.
So we got everything's fixed.
Everything's fixed.
It was all my fault, apparently. The battery, it was green.
Just takes you back to TV, doesn't it? Oh. It was always something with the batteries.
Something.
But it was good that
Yep.
we have the chat now. So we
Yes.
we knew, because I was showing green on all of my phone here shows the audio, and I was seeing green. And then I pulled it up full screen and injured myself on the chair running up to the soundboard to see if that was the problem, but we would have just continued carrying on for 30 minutes if it wasn't for that. So that's pretty good stuff.
That's very, very good stuff. Exactly.
Saved by the bell.
Yes. Anyway, so coming up in just a minute, Dan, let's go ahead and Dan's going to talk to you about the fog that's coming up this week for Christmas. We'll talk about that. But for those of you that want festive weather, there are some signs that a week from today it could be much, much colder. And Dan will have the details on that in just a minute.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Toyotathon is on at Panama City Toyota,
where you can get 1.99% APR on a new Camry and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 3.49% APR on a new Corolla and get $500 in holiday cash. Get 1.99% on a new Tacoma, plus $1,000 in holiday cash. And 1.99% on a new Tundra. Get $1,000 in holiday cash.
shake up your holidays at Toyotathon.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused.
A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game, to drown out that self-doubt and support your mental health? Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and your mental health.
Discover the resources that you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
Your piece of land demands the very best equipment. Kubota equipment. The #1 selling compact tractor in the U.S. with professional-grade mowers, versatile sidekick utility vehicles, and compact tractors that get it done right. All backed by unmatched dealer support. Talk to your dealer today to schedule a demo.
Now, from your trusted team of meteorologists at Panhandle Weather, this is your evening forecast update.
You can tell folks are off this week. Look at this behind me. We got folks in the maze. Left. We got folks
mini golfers.
Got some mini golfing going on here.
It's a sign that it is warm outside, at least
Yes.
for this time of year. People itching to get out there. With temperatures in the 60s right now, Chris, a common sight for the next few evenings. So there you go, some action on the mini golf course right now. Looks like they're moving on to the next hole there for this evening. And then, of course, the maze, some activity out there. Some folks lost, of course, as they try to work their way through that. And thanks again to the folks there at Coconut Creek for sponsoring Chris Smith's Lights. Out in Lower Grand Lagoon right now, no flag action there. You see the wind not all that impressive. Just a north breeze right now, 5 miles per hour. That's got dew point temperatures inside of the 50s. You're not being able to kind of keep the dry air around for much longer. We're going to soon see a push of an onshore wind and soon temperatures through both the overnight hours and then, of course, the afternoons. That's been well advertised, going to feel much warmer. So a quiet evening across the Panhandle. Here's what's happening as we head through Christmas week. Some fog becoming a part of the story here as we get on later through the week. Probably Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then as you get closer towards the end of the week, that might stick around as well. A warm and dry weekend expected for us here, but what goes up must come down. Next week, cooler air looking likely. Plenty of signals out there for a blast of colder air with a pretty sharp cold front as well. We'll work out the timing of that, of course, over the next couple of days. Watch how your winds right now, still blowing generally in what appears to be an offshore nature. Tomorrow, more onshore, especially in the western Panhandle. And as we work through the day, more of the coast working towards 79 and then in towards Panama City, you get a bit of a light onshore breeze. It's not much, so it's going to take time for moisture to return. However, we will eventually see these calm winds turn towards a more consistent breeze in that onshore direction. Help us to work in some warmer temperatures. We're already seeing that, though. The evening hours tonight slowly down through the 50s with just a couple of clouds popping up out and about for the second half of the overnight hours. Temperatures dropping down once again right around 50 degrees for many inland spots. A couple of spots up towards the tri-state briefly touch the 40s, but then in the coast it's still the mid-50s. A pretty comfortable way to get the day going and a good head start on warming as temperatures work their way back up into the mid-70s. There you see Marietta 76, Blountstown 77, Pensacola back to 72 degrees. Just a little cooler as you get down towards the Gulf water. My friends in the Forgotten Coast area are going to be right around that 70-degree mark still. And then temperatures for Christmas Eve morning, a bit of a mouthful there, a little warmer here. Mid-50s up towards I-10. We approach 60 degrees at the coast, and I think you're getting the idea at this point. It's a slow process, but we gradually add moisture and then gradually add warmth as well, working through the next several days. And one thing that could cause problems with is fog for the morning hours, Wednesday, Thursday for Christmas. If you're out early, Santa's going to need Rudolph as well. You got visibilities down here. This is the national blend of models, down to about a half-mile visibility in many locations. Obviously, locally dense fog will be possible, but I think everybody sees a layer of low clouds out there through the next several mornings, probably starting on Wednesday. And then as you work through the day, you'll find that temperatures are kind of back on the rise. We'll work our way out of the fog and see a lot more sunshine return as a result of that. But still a pretty warm one here. Look at Blountstown, back up to almost 80 degrees by Wednesday. And we'll continue to see that sort of trend as we get towards Christmas Day itself. Temperatures rising quickly from a good head start. You're back up inside of the mid-70s there with plenty of sunshine to look forward to as well. Rain chances, well, there's not much to write home about. You'll see towards the latter half of the weekend as we were talking about that front, you could be able to squeeze out some moisture, but Chris, we were kind of talking about this a couple of hours ago. That front really doesn't look like it's going to have much to work with, even though it's a pretty impressively sharp cold front.
Yeah, we're going to see temperatures drop down into the 50s. Lows could get close to freezing, I think, for at least some of us heading into next week. Now, it's still a week away, so we'll see how it all shakes out. But we definitely see a front heading in our direction that is going to bring some cooler weather to Northwest Florida, at least return us to below or near average conditions. Let's talk about temperatures right now. The temperature warmest out to the west. into parts of the south central United States. But what we'll see over the course of the week, we'll see a ridge of high pressure gradually build to the east, and that's going to allow for that warmer weather to return here into the deep south. Not that it isn't warm already, but we'll be talking about those highs getting closer to 80 degrees as opposed to, say, the low to mid 70s. As we have this big ridge of high pressure here, notice the big trough across the east coast, but this ridge builds across our region as we head through the mid to latter part of the week. There you see it right there. So we're talking about record heat, Texas, Oklahoma, back up into places like Missouri going to be seeing that. Now that trough flattens out a little bit as we head into the upcoming weekend, but I want you to pay attention here up here to the top part of the screen as we're going to see a big trough of low pressure dig into the eastern United States, and that is going to allow for some cooler air to begin to filter in across our neck of the woods as we head into the beginning part of next week. Now, after that, we see some signs that that ridge builds back over us, and that would warm things back up. But at least we'll have several days next week, and probably at least 3 days of below average to average temperatures across our area. So where we have front passes to our north, nothing to worry about there. You just continue to see everything's kind of moving in this direction, just like this. So that's a warm, moist flow. Here we are on Christmas Eve as we head into Christmas Day. Again, just nothing but sunshine. High pressure remains in control. Heading into Boxing Day on Friday, you'll see maybe some clouds return, but again, the theme will be warm and humid. You look for rainfall over the next 7 days. Really nothing across our neck of the woods, some rainfall to the north. So if we do even see rainfall with that system Sunday into Monday, as you saw in the map Dan showed you there on the graphic, it was like 10%, and there was a reason why. Now, moving into the latter part and mid to latter part of next week, we're still looking at below average precipitation, but you definitely have seen the chances of seeing above average temperatures shave back to the west as that ridge builds back to the west and we get this trough here across the eastern United States. So again, below average precipitation, that's continuing. The temperatures we will have to see across our area, but definitely less likely that we're going to see above average temperatures compared to where it's been this week. So 7-day forecast. Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, this is at the coast. Notice our highs at the coast never get much higher than about 70, 71, 72 degrees. That's because water temperatures right now are about like 63, 64 degrees. So with an onshore wind, that brings that cooler air that's over the water across the coastline. But as you move inland a few miles, it warms up and you get 77, 78, 78. So some pretty warm weather here. And then you see, as we head into next week, we start to see that cooler air begin to move in with temperatures dropping down into the 60s and 40s and potentially maybe even some freezing temperatures a little bit later on next week. So we'll fine tune that part of the forecast. It will definitely get cooler. How much cooler? It's still, 7-8 days away.
One of the things I think is interesting about that CPC outlook for temperatures, and we kind of just talked about that ridge pushing towards the west, was like, some of the models here and the deterministic models, it's kind of getting clipped by cold temperatures. So it's not like a finite pattern change, where we settle into the cold for a long stretch of time. It almost looks like you get clipped by the cold, got a couple of days that drop down in temperatures, and then it looks like we respond nicely back to average.
Yeah, so, if that ends up happening as we head into like the new year, then all of a sudden that warmer side, bubbles back as that ridge moves from the west back to the east. And when you average it out, like that cold definitely gets washed out over that 6 to 10 day time period that you're looking at.
So that'll be the battle, it looks like, as we get into January versus warm. A lot of big swings in that department, but rain, I think, is something we'll be asking for more and more as we get through January, and we'll see. Obviously, the current long-range predictions, especially with that kind of lingering La Nina, it's a lot of brown on those Climate Prediction Center graphics.
Yeah.
So we'll have to take what we can get every single time rain is forecast.
Yeah, there's not going to be lost Dan's audio now.
No, it's back.
Okay.
I did briefly break it, but we're good.
Okay, very, very good. Well, 1 and 1. Each of us has an audio issue. What was the other? I think as we head into Christmas Eve night or Christmas Eve morning and Christmas morning. I think fog will be probably the big story this week, so that'll be something to kind of keep in mind. As we were saying on one of our graphics, that Rudolph is going to earn his pay this week.
Yeah, well, they're all gonna have the kids looking out back, trying to see if they can. I'm sure I could see him with the fog.
Yeah, oh, man. Yep, so here we are, Christmas week. We appreciate everyone for tuning in. Thanks for your patience with the audio issues there, but I think we learned a few things this evening. David Wesley, we appreciate you. Joseph Mandeville. Try Grunt. Yes, I owe you an email. Yvette, thank you very much as well. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.